I'm absolutely in a state of shock, to be quite honest with you. I played golf and they wanted to kill me for 2 years, almost every day of my life. I had policemen sleeping in my house every night, sometimes 40 policemen walking around on a golf course. I played in malaria countries where malaria kills way more people than Zika even thinks about. I played in yellow fever war zones. And my goodness me, here I'm hearing players say that it interferes with their schedule. Now for me, you have 3.5 billion people watching the Olympics. Golf needs to be promoted because golf is not healthy amongst amateurs and the play of the average man in the street today. Professional golf is extremely healthy, never been more healthy. I do have respect. I think we should have amateurs participate, not professionals, because they would appreciate the fact. You know, there is no such thing as freedom of speech anymore, unless it's politically correct, as we've seen many people lose their jobs, etc., saying what you believe. So I do accept, when Branden phones me, and he had the courtesy to phone me, which I appreciated as a captain of the South African team, I respect his opinion. Everybody has their opinion and their rights. I respect it. I don't agree with it.
I would love to play in an Olympic team, represent your country. I mean, that's the highest honor you can play in. But you know, for me, like Suzann said, you know, it's tough. I'm getting married in November. You know, family for me is a very important part of my life. You know, we actually had the conversation last night. We set a table, and you know, if I'm the cause of my kid coming out with something, and something happens, you know, it's just a call that you have to make, and it's something I'll never forgive myself for. You know, it's a pity. Like I said, I mean, there's a lot of different. Everybody looks at it differently. That's my opinion. You know, I hope that I can represent my country in 4 years' time.
I've always been a big promoter of golf being a part of the Olympics. I grew up in Norway, where obviously the Winter Olympics is the only thing, pretty much. It's our pride and honor. If we fail, it's a national disaster. If we win, it's, I mean, the country lives on that cloud for a while. So I mean, I grew up watching, and a lot of my sporting heroes are all Olympians. So for me, it was quite a natural step to help bring golf into the IOC, into the Olympic program. And I think it should be there. One of the world's leading sports needs to be a part of the world's biggest arena. Unfortunately, we've been obviously faced with a couple of different challenges.
I've obviously been in, you know, since it came on. I thought it'd be fantastic. Again, I've been brought up in a household where we watch all kinds of sports, and you know, the Olympic Games is massive. You know, we watch it as kids, and we see all these sporting heroes come through, and I think it's a difficult one, obviously, to put in a category for where golf is within where you put the Olympics in terms of, you know, importance. I think where it sits for guys' scheduling is quite tricky, and I can see again why guys would choose not to play. I think it'd be interesting even if Zika wasn't around. I think you'd have still got a lot of guys withdrawing purely through schedule. I think the Zika thing was a relatively simple way potentially of having a little bit of an excuse there. Like Gary said, I mean, I've played Leopard Creek about 4 or 5 times, and every time you go down there, there's more of a risk of getting malaria down there than would be of getting Zika, you know, in Rio.
I'm old school. I think the Olympic Games is based on the sports of track and field. I don't think golf fits in that formula. But I see the benefits of having golf in the Olympics, and I think, and one of the most disappointing things that happened in the Olympics is when they included the professionals. They said, well, you know, nobody wants to see the amateurs compete anymore. They want to see the best athletes compete. But you know, they have their own tours. They have their own places to go. But the amateurs trying to get to be the best. I think that I agree with Gary in that respect. That it should be an amateur event.